Today I have the 2019 Mazda CX-5. It is considered one of the most fun to drive SUVs in the market, under $40,000. I'm going to tell you what's new on this 2019 Mazda CX-5 and what's new under the hood, because it's really a lot of fun. And I get started right now. Hey, it's Tim Esterdahl, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and my passion is trucks and SUVs. If that's your passion too, make sure you hit subscribe, click the bell, hit the like button. This is the 2019 Mazda CX-5. It's got a new engine under the hood. We're going to talk about that and a diesel variant. I'm going to tell you what else is new in the 2019 model, and we're going to go through the interior, and I'll tell you some pros and cons on it. We'll go for driving impressions. I'll probably give you my 5 good things and 5 bad things. So let's go ahead and get started right now. Okay, this is the 2019 Mazda CX-5. One of the new things this year is power folding mirrors. When you lock, it folds. It makes it kind of nice. It's nice when you're parking in a parking garage in places. Don't worry about somebody smacking your mirror as they come around. That's only in limited trims. I'll tell you those trims here in a minute. This is the 2.5 liter SkyActiv technology. It's got a turbocharged engine in it, and we have the CX-5 all-wheel drive. So let's go ahead and pop the hood and talk to you more about this engine. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about what's under the hood. New this year is a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine for this model year vehicle. It's really a great engine. It's a lot of fun to drive. They use it throughout their lineup. The CX-5 is one of those vehicles that didn't have the turbocharge, and now it does. Now they may have 3 different versions of powertrains for this vehicle. We have the 2.5 liter turbo, we have a 2.2 liter turbo diesel, and we have a 2.5 liter with a 4-cylinder with just cylinder deactivation, no turbo. I'll put some stats on the screen. You can kind of see the differences in pound-feet of torque, horsepower, and fuel economy. The takeaways are going to be basically this. The 2.5 liter turbo is a lot of fun to drive, comes in all-wheel drive. The diesels, I haven't driven it yet, but you can tell by the numbers, it makes even more, it's fun to drive as a 2.5 liter turbo gas, but better fuel economy. And a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, just cylinder deactivation, comes in front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, is the most fuel efficient, the least fun to drive. That's kind of your differences. Another thing I want to talk about, I always like to pop the hood and take a look at stuff, is where your maintenance items are. So in this case, I have air filter here, I have a battery here, I have a power steering, I have coolant, and I have windshield wiper fluid. So pretty easy placement for that stuff. What I don't like is where you check the oil. So I have a dipstick on top of this plastic covering for the engine. And so what I don't like about it is this gets pretty hot. This plastic is pretty hot. So if you're on a road trip, you could get burned, checking your oil. You need to let that cool down. Also, you place to add oil on top of the engine as well. I just don't care for the placement of both those. I think they could be done a little bit better. Let's go and fire it up, listen to the exhaust note. That's always a good time. And we'll go ahead and do some interior stuff and then go for a drive. So let's go ahead and get to it. Oh, and one last thing. I keep forgetting this, but before I go very far, props on Mazda. We have a lot of sound dampening in here, which makes the noise, vibration handling, the noise inside the cabin, I should say, more accurately in this point, quieter. So it's a much quieter ride, but it does make the hood kind of heavy. All right, let's go ahead and pop the trunk here and start with the trunk. I'll kind of show you around the doors and kind of go from there. So in the trunk here, you can see I put my golf clubs in here to show you kind of some spacing. You have a little cubby hole built in here, so it allows the golf clubs to fit all the way across, and I have additional storage space. And I have a nice kind of sun visor here and cover, so when you close the trunk hood, or trunk like this, it covers everything up. All right, inside here, real spare tire. Yes! Love real spare tires. So, and the seats can come down as well. With a little latch here, I can lay these seats flat and have quite a bit of cargo space back here. So let's go ahead and close this and kind of move along. On the doors here, I have this nice kind of wood trim. I have some nice chrome, some nice stitching, really good sized door handles. I really just like this design. Mazda's always had a really good design, and I think it works pretty well. So getting in and out, look how wide that door gets. That's a great amount of space there, easy to get in and out. Sitting in the back seats here, you can see the same styling on the side. It does seat 5, possibly. You're going to have some room here. And I have heated seats back here, which is pretty nice touch on the CX-5 for under $40,000. Okay, so headroom. I have quite a bit of headroom back here. A pretty good amount of leg room. I mean, it's pretty comfortable back here. I would say if you get like 4 taller adults, you may have some issues as far as, getting everybody to fit. But, for me, I have no problems. I have no problems sitting back here. I have no problems with, as far as space and room. Okay, in the front, again, look how much room you have to get in and out of this. So much room, so easy. I have some seat buttons here to set for like if I want individual seating preferences. I have some power seats here as well. Go ahead and hop in. I have my cruise control buttons here. I have my radio buttons here. I have my traction control off button there. I have some camera buttons, and I have the fuel tank lip opening. Maybe I opened this door to be able to see it. The gas tank cover, and I have the front hood open button there. I do have power windows and power locks here, and I adjust the mirrors. Go ahead and start this up so you can see the fancy Mazda CX-5 comes in the middle. I have TAC, and I have your fuel, and it's all manual mechanical gauges. So then we come over here. This is Mazda's infotainment screen. Kind of flip around, you can see it, as I flip through stuff, things open up pretty quickly. Go back and forth, turn off entertainment. But I can flip around and see where. Trying to make this work, guys. And it's saying mute. There's nav. So here's the nav button that opens up. My only criticism of this is when I pan out, you can see just kind of how small it is on the dash. It's really kind of hard to use. Like the navigation is just too small. And there's all this extra space. Seems like they could just cut this out and make it just a bigger screen. Doesn't seem that hard to me. I have the HVAC system. I have that going because it is hot out here today. And I have heated seats and cooled seats up front. It's a really nice touch. And I have your shifter right here. I have a really good storage spot here. But what's interesting is I have a cigarette lighter hookup, but I have no USB in here. So it seems like it's a great spot to charge your cell phone, but you can't use it. So I guess instead I'll just throw sunglasses up there. I have drive modes. I have sport, and I have like a normal drive mode. Yep, sport and normal. That's the 2 drive modes. Sport is a lot of fun to drive in. I have cup holders. I have the auto. I have a parking brake, electronic parking brake, and I have kind of my nav screen. What's interesting is I have this huge nav or kind of button for the infotainment system, and I have this really tiny button for the volume. Sorry, lost words there for a minute. I have the nice wood trim goes around, finishes up, and then here in the center, this is where I have my USBs there, and I have a little storage area. I just don't have much storage there at all, not a lot of space. As far as visibility, you can see I have a pretty good amount of visibility. This A-pillar comes kind of in the way here on the side, but I still got a pretty good amount of room. I don't have a problem with that too much because I like the design. Oh, I have a sunroof in here as well, and then I have some sunroof buttons and lighting buttons and things like that. Alright, out on the road here with the 2019 Mazda CX-5. It is just a lot of fun to drive. It corners well, it handles well. There's not a lot of body roll. The turbo is a lot of fun. You get up to speed really quickly. I have a heads-up display that is nice to see in this price point. Again, this one comes in at, I have the paperwork with me right here. Make sure I get you the accurate information. Comes in at $39,030, $39,030, and that's with a few options. I think it's actually base price was $36,000. So in that price point, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the CX-5. There are some cons to it, and I'll get to those in a second. But just it's fun to corner, and I'm not even in sport mode. And when I turn on sport mode, I have even more fun. So it's definitely a driver's car, in my opinion. My wife wants one, but we're fearful of the speeding tickets. Yeah. All right, so let's wrap this up. Let's go with my 5 things I like about it, 5 things I don't like about it. You just heard me gush over how well it drives. Well, that's obviously all I like. I like the fact it has the turbocharged engine in this model year. That's a great win. I like the fact it's got the rear cargo room, so that's 3. So I can fit my golf clubs back there. It's covered. I don't have to worry about, like, some vehicles have a shade you can pull over. Some, it's all sorts of different configurations. This is just built in. It automatically happens. Don't worry about it. Number 4, I like the heads-up display. It just showed me there's a stop sign on my indicator there. It's kind of nice, you know, if I was clueless and missed the stop sign. At least, you know, I can see some road signs. I can see the speed limit, whether I choose to ignore it or not. Another question. But I have a lot right there, heads-up display, and the heads-up display is really sharp. And number 5, I like the style. This is a very stylish SUV. It looks good. I've seen it at night. Looks good during the day. No matter what the sunlight does to it, it doesn't seem like it washes out. And it's a really nice to look at SUV. It just is. It's sexy. All right. I said sexy. Damn it. It's sexy. All right. 5 things I don't like about it. All right. Number 1, and this is my nitpicking stuff. I get criticized on this all the time, but these are the things that when you own a car for a long time, they do get annoying. Number 1, you'd already heard me talk about in the engine bay, checking the oil. I mean, that's ridiculous, guys. You know, move that damn dipstick someplace where it's not so hot, and just give me a good spot to check the oil at. It doesn't have to be there. It doesn't need to be there at all. I've done some engine work over the years. You can move that wherever you want to. Number 2, I don't like there's not a USB inside where I want it. Instead, I have all this cords coming out of my center console. It goes around my drinks. It just kind of feels weird. I like to put my phone, charging, and everything together in one little convenient spot. So that's another criticism I would have on this. Number 3, dials. I mean, it's just kind of weird. It's kind of the weird dialing setup. You know, this massive dial for the infotainment and little teeny dial for the volume, and I have all this space around it. Just give me a bigger dial. You know, I don't have big hands. I'm like this trying to turn up the volume. It's kind of weird. Number 3 is a little bitty screen. You know, I'll show you the backup camera here in a minute, and you saw the navigation on the other video. It's hard to see. And I understand why they can't just, don't go bigger because don't obstruct my view, but there's all this plastic. Just cut the plastic off and drop that down and make it a bigger screen. It doesn't have to be that small. Those are some criticisms. So that was 4 criticisms. And number 5 criticism has got to be there's just a lack of storage space. I don't have a big glove box. I don't have like a double glove box. The center console isn't very much storage at all. There is a lot of storage in the trunk, and it's just the way the vehicle's set up. I have a long hood. I have a decent amount of seating area here, decent amount of seating in the middle, and I have a lot of room back there in the cargo area. So it's really interesting. I think if you're a bigger person and you need to, or you have kids and you have family, you have car seats and things, I don't think this SUV is going to fit your needs. I think you're going to find that if you're taller than I am, you're going to sit in here, the seat's going to go back, it's going to interfere with the car seat, you're not going to have storage for like diaper bags and things. It's just going to be overall an issue for families looking for this SUV and keeping enough storage room inside the cabin for drinks and for storing stuff that you just don't have the room for, which is not a really criticism of the CX-5. Well, it kind of is, overall. But in this category, this mid-sized SUV, it's definitely more apparent in this. I just don't think there's enough storage space inside of this. And if you're looking for a family like we are, you may want to go bigger, like CX-9 or Toyota Highlander would be at the bigger size to have more storage space to be able to carry more stuff in the cabin. Because with this setup, there's just not enough storage space. There you go. There's my 5 good and 5 bad things about 2019 Mazda CX-5. Put the comments below on how nitpicky I am or how much you disagree. I'm well aware that people don't agree with me. It's fine. It's fine. For more pickup truck plus SUV news, make sure you find us on pickuptrucktalk.com. Those 3 words work again on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're there. Trust me. I've done it. I type it in, and I find us. It works. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.